Good evening, everybody, and welcome to ILR1 Season 6 for the Austrian Grand Prix, round 9 of the season. And we have just entered into qualifying to start the qualifying proceedings. Last time out, it was the French Grand Prix, and ILR won that one, and that was a pretty interesting Grand Prix. Plenty of drama, people spinning out the race, championship contenders spinning out the race, people like Surprise and ILR. But we're here in Austria, a circuit which presents many overtaking opportunities, long straights, and people are really going to be fighting really hard in this Grand Prix, particularly on those straights to try and keep hold position, because I do think it could be a bit of a slipstream fest. Tonight normally would have been James or Diablo, but unfortunately he isn't with myself tonight. He's got some issues, technical issues, so he won't be joining me. He could be coming back to join me later on in the session, but it's looking like it's going to be me alone for you today. But I'll try my best and keep the action going, and hopefully you enjoy the race, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. I think it can be. You've got multiple DRS zones in this circuit, and as we've said, multiple overtaking opportunities, and I think it could be a cracker. And also, you don't know what it's going to do with the weather as well. Weather can play a big role in how things go. Austria is one of those circuits where it can rain and it can be dry, but for me, I don't really mind. I'm a commentator, and I don't mind a bit of. I like a bit of both, really. I think the drivers also, that challenge factor of having a bit of both, of different types of conditions, really helps. Last week we had LCR Leopard return back to the league. He races for Renault. He is back once again this week. He took a bit of time out from league racing, but he's back again in ILR, and it's good to see him back. He's a superb driver, and we hope to see some more results from him. I think he came sort of second last week, so and a pretty good result. But out there, everyone's sort of starting their quali runs now. They're doing their out laps, and just doing their first banker laps out there at the moment. There we have Verstappen as one of those guys who's out there in the Williams. He's currently just setting his first. Let's run on board with the Williams driver. So let's go on board with him. He's got some pretty good pace, and I think throughout the season he hasn't had much luck. He's been there or thereabouts. We can see he's now navigating, got a bit of traffic ahead of him. And then this one's a pretty tricky braking zone here, and he turns it in nicely in third gear, gets on the throttle nicely, and he's on that soft tyre, so he's on the softest of the three allocated this weekend. Left-hander now being patient as you turn it in, and now another left-hander again. You want to be patient, you don't want to go too early on the throttle, and you don't want it too wide, but he's navigated through there very nicely indeed. And now we've got the next two corners, very tricky to get the braking zone right. He brakes down into sixth gear, turns it in, and then the last corner breaks down into fourth gear, and a little bit of understeer, not as much as like ILR goes on to a 3.9, and then there is Verstappen on 4.2, so 0.3 off the pace. But we're going to see a lot of close gaps. A Surprise is actually now in second place on a 3.9, and so Rosberg is on a 4.2, and oh my gosh, Joe has just gone on top on a 3.8. So that's at the moment that's our current order. But we are going to see around here, because it's such a short lap, we're going to see a lot of people. I think a lot of people be very close in terms of times. I think we're going to have very close times, nothing much separating. And the smallest mistake round here can cost you a few grid positions as well. Looking down the order, let's have a look who's out there on laps. Overkills, he's jumped up to the league in France. He's currently gone 8th for now. Langman, how's he getting on? He's out there at the moment. Limitless is on an out lap, so we'll see how he's getting on. Let's keep on board with Langman. Let's see what he's getting up to. In the left-hander, a little bit of understeer, not getting the apex as he would like. Maybe is he going to continue on with the lap? He is. Now the double right-handers, the last corner coming up here. And you want to be careful. You don't want to cut it or extend too much. And he has gone quite wide there, but it probably won't. Like bad day, it doesn't. So that puts him into P4, and that's definitely a bit more improvement in there for the Toro Rosso driver, but not a bad banker lap. And already the grid is very, very close. We've got a couple of tenths separating the top 5, the top 2, the top 4 actually definitely, and then 4 tenths to Sarah Rosberg. So it is pretty close out there. How's ILR Limitless getting on? He's currently out there on a lap in the racing point. He's in the left-hander. Let's see how he's getting on. Doesn't run it too wide. Let's keep on board with him. He was very unlucky last time out in France. Basically was in the wrong place at the wrong time often. And he's oversteered. He's okay. He didn't hit the wall there. He actually managed that very well to not hit the wall. I would call that a controlled spin for JD, and he's going to probably box it. The Ferrari gets very close to him. See, on this game, you don't know if the car would actually ghost in that situation, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And that time, it certainly did not. And that's not Diaz. He struggles to get back in the pit lane, but he's okay. He's back in. Everyone's back in the pit lane. They've done their out laps and then their first initial laps here, and they're going back out again. I've just seen the Williams go back out there. Langman's gone back out there definitely. So yeah, Verstappen's back out there again. And let's get some tyre data and see what tyres they're all running. They're all running the soft tyres. So that could tell me a number of multiple things. That could tell me that it could be a wet race if everyone's going on soft tyres. I'd be very surprised that no one's going to try the alternate strategy. Bear in mind, it is very early in the session, and it could be that people are just going to go on the soft tyres initially and then put on a set of medium tyres towards the end. Who knows? But to me, the fact that no one's tried a lap on the medium tyre yet, that's a surprise to me. Whether that's because there's a big pace deficit in compared to the two compounds that are available, but I would hedge my bets that people who are not going to get in that top 10 would try and qualify on that medium tyre. And no one's done that yet. So that's a surprise to me. We've got multiple others out there as well. We've got Sarah Rosberg going out there again. We've got a surprise out there, Syra and Joe. Let's see who's next guy is going to start a lap. Probably going to be Joe, and Joe's giving a little bit of a toe to his own teammate Surprise there, so that's interesting. And Joe is a bit far back in the championship. He's currently running 4th. That's because I think he missed a few races during the season, and he missed 2 races at China and Spain, so that's why he's so far back in the championship. But theoretically, this championship still it's a long way to go, and in his opinion, he's probably thinking, hey, I can still compete for wins and not have to help my own teammate. But let's go on board with my God. Let's see how he's getting on here. So we're going to turn 1. He's going to brake at the 100 metre board down into 4th gear. Turns it in nicely. Actually done in 3rd gear a little bit to get more turning. And he's got through that first corner pretty nicely. And it's really important you get that first corner hooked up because it affects your speed down this straight. And now braking just before the 50 metre board between the 100 and the 50. Turns it in nicely. You want to be careful on the throttle and don't want to squeeze too early. And he actually got really good traction from there. And now we're heading. It goes a bit. Actually, the elevation of the circuit sort of changes. It goes back downhill again. Before the 50 metre board down into 3rd gear. Turns it in. And actually down to 2nd a little bit to get, again, more front end grip there. To try and get the front end more in. And now the left-handers are coming out. The long, very patient left-handers in 4th gear. Turns it in. And now the next left-hander, again, in 4th gear. Being very patient with the throttle. Don't run it too wide. That's not a bad set of corners from my God, it's Joe. And now we're heading into the penultimate corner. It's downhill again, down into 5th gear, turns it in, so much speed there. And now into the last corner, down to 4th gear, runs it a little bit wide, but he's okay. And here he comes across the line. It's going to be a 3.7. But what's his teammate behind going to do? And Surprise does go and actually displace him on a 3.715. Only, 600ths faster than Surprise, than Oh My God, it's Joe. So is that down to the toe? Is he getting a little bit of that slipstream from his own teammate? And could that be making a difference here in qualifying today? And I do think that's going to play a little bit of a part. But again, Mercedes 1 and 2 here. We've seen that a few times this season, so it's becoming a bit of a trend in qualifying. But Syra out there on a 3.9. How's he getting on the improve? Is he starting a lap or going on? Is he starting one? Let's keep on board with him, see how he goes on. Getting into turn 1. He doesn't cut it, but he rides the curb on the inside a lot more. He gets a little bit of a toe from Alphabal ahead of him. And he gets that toe. And now we're heading into technically the 2nd corner, but it is actually turn 3. But even though that it's a little, it is basically turn 3. It's officially turn 3, but it kind of isn't an F1 car. But he definitely looks like he's actually on a lap, so we'll keep on board with the Alfa Romeo driver, who won last week's race at France. Again, Limitless gets out of the way nicely for him, and now the left-handers again down into 4th gear, turns it in. And to me, he's navigated through there a bit better than Joe had. And now, again here, being very patient. You don't want to get on the throttle too early, because what that can do is it can make your car just understeer off and onto that curb and really mess up your lap. Now the corner down in 6th gear, turns it in. And now the last corner down into 4th gear. And a little bit of understeer. Didn't get to the apex as nicely as you'd like to, but it's a run to the line. It is not an improvement at all, so that's still it's not gone fast in those 3.9, so it's definitely time to find for Syra there. But again, 2/10 separating those top 2 to everybody else. It's there's sort of 2/10 of a second difference there. Langman out there in 4th. He's done a good lap there, 3.9. So the guy who's graduated from ILR2 into ILR1 doing a superb job at the moment. Had a good race in France and continuing the trend here in Austria. So doing a very, very respectable job. Anybody else on laps at the moment? People are sort of back in the pit lane, really, preparing for their last runs in qualifying. Actually, Overkill is now 11, but I'm wondering if his time got taken away, or was that... No, I think that was Langman who went... Sorry, that might have been my mistake. That was Langman who is in 4th. He hasn't graduated from ILR2. That's my mistake. Overkills is the one who graduated from ILR2, and he's done in 11th place at the moment. Anybody else out there who's doing a lap? And let's have a little look at how Albao's getting on. Is he going to go faster than his 4.5 across the line? And he does. He does 4.4. And Dralek says he's getting on in the Ferrari. Double right-handers. He's also graduated from ILR2, and he's struggling a little bit at that last corner. Let's see who runs to the line for the Ferrari boy. Across the lines of 4.6, so seemingly struggling with that Ferrari. It seemed to be a bit of a handful through those penultimate corner, and the last corner. So not ideal for him in terms of lap time. That's definitely lost him a little bit of lap time there. But again, he's on bottom of the pass in 16th place. But there's only, what, 9-10 separating the top 16 drivers? That's a pretty incredible amount of, only not much time deficit there at all between these guys. So everyone's back out there on outlaps. So the two Mercedes boys, again, giving each other the toe. This time it's, again, Joe giving it to Surprise. And Surprise, I think that Joe would like to have it instead, in my opinion. But that's not working out that way. So here we go. Let's have a look at Surprise. Let's see. Let's run on ball with the current pole sitter into turn 1, down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely, and he is running a pink helmet. Seemingly, I gather that is for Albert, for Hubert, for him. Now let's go into turn 3. Brakes before the 50-meter board, down into 1st gear, and up the 2nd and 3rd very quickly, short shifting to get the better traction out the corners, and getting more at run. He isn't really in the sort of the slipstream territory. And now, before the 50-meter board down into 2nd gear, turns it in, and he's again shifting up the 3rd and 4th very quickly in order to get the better traction. And now double left-handers down into 5th gear, actually now 4th gear, to get the front end in a bit more. And now the left-hander again, it holds it in 5th gear, so different sort of style. A lot of people are running it in 4th for both corners. He's running it in 5th for the second part of the left-hander. And then he's actually going to be boxing it back in again. And he'll probably put on another set of tyres. How's Joe getting on? Does he improve on his lap? Across the lines, a 3.6. So he lowers the time once again. So that's now a marker for Surprise to beat. Now, does Joe have enough time to come back into the pit lane and put on a fresh set of softs for the end of the session? Because bear in mind, the last 5 minutes is where the track is is in its prime. That's when it's completely rubbered in. That's where the fast lap times will come. Has Joe laid down a marker that is potentially beatable by Surprise? And has Joe, I'm sure Joe's got, probably it's going to be tight on margins, but I'm sure he's got enough time to box it in and put on another set of soft tyres again to go for another run. So it's going to be fascinating. The last sort of 3 minutes of this session, because it's a short lap, I do expect that he'll be able to put in another lap at least. If he has another fresh set of soft tyres, but I'm sure he does have another fresh set of tyres available to him. So Jason's out there again. Leopard is out there. Are they actually on laps? Let's have a little look. They're not on out laps. So Jason's coming back into the pits, is he? Yes, he is. Leopard is going for it. Let's keep on board with LCR Leopard. He returns to ILR. Last time out in France. Let's see how he's getting on. He's in 10th place at the moment. Is he on a flyer? That's the question. Looks to me he's going to be boxing it in. So there we go. He boxes it into the pit lane. And we'll be putting on another fresh set of tyres for the end of the session. A lot of people have done that. But the first man, I think the first couple of people are going out. So Albao's out there at the moment. He's starting a flying lap. And Visara is out there too. He's going to be coming on to a lap very soon. He's actually on his out lap. So, Alpabao, can he improve on his current P14? It is pretty tight in that midfield. So let's see how he gets on. So now, brakes before the 50-meter board down into 1st gear. Turns it in, shifting up to 2nd gear. And a 3rd and 4th. And now letting the car do its thing. The elevation changes are happening now, so you can see how the track goes up and down, and goes back down again, and turns it in 2nd gear, Gets the front end nicely. Doesn't get on the throttle too early either. And now through the double left-handers now. Down into 4th gear for this one. And he's understeering a little bit. He's completely missed the apex. He's gone wide there. So that's completely ruined the Toro Rosso driver's laps. That's far from ideal. But let's now go back to Visira. How is he getting on now? He got through the first corner. So he's actually finished the first sector now. It's a very short first sector, isn't it? It's just basically one corner on the straight. Now hits DRS nicely. Can he improve on his 3.9? It's 2 tenths. He got a good 2.5 tenths to find to Joe. And now into this corner now. Be careful on the throttle here. Gets a little bit of oversteer, but it's all right. It's all manageable. And now the double left-handers again. Down into 4th gear. Turns it in. And up to 5th. Get better traction. And now the second left-hander. Yellow's into the 1. I wonder maybe that's 4. A little bit wide for Syra there. And now the penultimate corner coming up. Down into 6th gear, turns it in. And now into the last corner. Down into 4th gear, turns it in. But he's kind of rode the inside too much. Then it's completely missed his lineup. Is it faster? It is faster. But it isn't enough for pole position. So he's in 3rd place. And I've got a feeling that is it for the Alfa Romeo driver. Now, Surprise and Joe both again together on circuit. And it's Joe again towing Surprise. So that is interesting indeed. Let's see what those guys can do. Limitless is currently in the pit lane. Limitless, is he leaving it quite fit? Is he leaving it quite late? That is very late if he is just leaving out there. So, Surprise. Oh my god, it's Joe. Let's see what he can do. Here's into turn 1. Down into 3rd gear. Turns it in nicely. Doesn't run it too wide. Got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. It might get a little bit of a tow from the Alfa Romeo driver. He goes to the right hand side and he actually avoids it nicely. Now into technically the 3rd corner, down into 2nd gear, turns it in, and to me it doesn't look fast from Joe. Is he actually on I don't think he's really on it on this lap. He might be going again afterwards. Let's see how Surprise is getting on. So Joe will have another shot at it after this. We'll have enough time. Now Surprise got a lot of trouble to deal with here. Got João Pedro ahead and his own teammate. And it does seem to me that Surprise isn't going for it. And you know what? Surprise has had to back out. I think he's actually had to back out of that. So the Team Mercedes boys have been compromised on their final laps here. So Joe is going to go again. Now Limitless is actually on an out lap. So again, let's keep with Joe here. Let's see, can he keep hold of pole position that he really, really would like to keep hold of? It's the final sort of 15 seconds of the session. It's where the track is at its absolute prime. It is all on the line here. So Joe, heading into turn 1, brakes for 50 meter, down into 3rd gear, turns it in nicely, and actually shifts up the 4th gear on the exit to get better traction. And now it's a long wait on this straight. It is technically turn 2. And now he brakes before more down into 1st gear, turns it in, locks up a little bit on the front right, which compromises his line, but he should be okay. He'll get away with it, and only he'll know if he's up or not at the moment. Only he will know. And now brakes before 50 mil down in 3rd gear, actually 2nd gear, to get better turning, and doesn't run it too wide. Now got cars ahead of him. They need to get out of the way, which they do nicely. Now the double left-handers, 4th gear, and up to 5th to get better traction. And now turns it in for the second one in 4th gear, turns it on, and he actually shifts up to 5th and 6th to get better traction. All the pressure is on here. It's so easy to make a mistake when it's the final few seconds of qualifying. It's all over now. Down in 5th gear, and now the last corner, down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely, runs to the line for my gosh Joe. Is it going to be on pole? Cross the line. He does improve. It's a 3.651, but what a surprise. Can he go faster? He's into the penultimate corner, down into 6th gear, turns it in nicely. Last corner is all here. One mistake can cost it. He's got a good run to the line. Is it going to be on pole position? It's not. It's, oh my god, it's Joe. He's on pole position. It's Joe's day at Austria, and he has taken a fabulous pole position ahead of his own teammate, Veloce Surprise. All got a little bit tense there actually in the final few minutes of qualifying between those two boys. It was all between them two, and oh my god, Joe has prevailed. He's taken pole position in Austria ahead of his own teammate, Veloce Surprise. It's looking good for kind of maybe a Mercedes dominated race. Visara in 3rd place, Langman in 4th, and TSR Bastek in 5th. Very good qualifying from him. Stur Rosberg in 6th, P1R Brown in 7th, João Pedro in 8th, WOR Verstappen in 9th, and Jason in 10th. Alfa Bauer in 11th, LCR Leopard in 12th, Limitless in 13th. He'll be disappointed with that. he might have had an invalidation on his lap time, maybe. Overkill's in 14th, Feist Ted in 15th, and VS Adralex in 16th. That has been qualifying for you, and that was definitely an interesting session, but I'm wondering, not many people chose to go on the medium, and is it going to be a wet race? It's not. Everyone's qualified on that soft tyre. That tells me, obviously, that the medium probably has quite a big pace deficit to the soft tyre, so that tells me a lot in terms of race strategy. I think a lot of these guys will probably be going for the same strategy. You might see people pit in early to try and get the undercut and run the hard, but I've got a feeling the hard tyre probably doesn't work very well on this circuit. And it's all about having the softer compound around here, and probably running the middle set or the middle compound or the softer compound. But everybody's running up right now, putting on their setups, or probably not putting on setups, apart from me actually on. They're probably just getting their fuel set for the race. You can change that on the grid. And if you're outside the top 10, you can change your tyre compound you want to start on. And I do think you'll probably see a few guys outside the top 10 start on the middle compound available. That's what I believe. They try and go for the alternate strategy. And that can sometimes pay off if you work it well. Face safety cars, these safety cars can happen in this race as well, so that's another thing to consider for the strategy when it does happen. But we'll see how things will play out. Here we go, everyone is going to be doing their formation lap now, and they'll be going away just to be careful on their tyres. They don't want to wear their tyres too much. And what they don't want to do is they don't want to get themselves disqualified from the formation lap, because it means that their tyres cannot be in an optimal window when they start the race officially. So you really want to make it through this formation lap. It's ideal if you do. Let's get a bit of detail on there. Let's get let's get the soft tyre, get the tyre compound. So you can see Albal is running the medium, and so is LCR Leopard. He's on the medium tyre. Limitless has gone for the interesting strategy. He's gone for the hard tyre. So it's looking like he's going to try and push on harder on those, push on really early on those hard tyres. And then we've got Overkills on the medium and Dralex also on that medium tyre. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. We've got 3 different strategies being played out today. We've got people running the soft tyre to start with. We've got people running the medium. And we've got Limitless on his own running the hard. So that tells us that's a very interesting strategy. Now that's going to be a very easy one-stop race for Limitless. Doesn't have to worry about tyre management too much. He can just go for it. That's what he can do. He can just absolutely go for it. But something tells me that hard tyres can be a bit of a struggle to get going on that earlier phase. The cars are heavy with fuel. They're fat with fuel. They're going to be a little bit harder to drive. And to me, I'd rather be on that medium or the soft than the hard, but the hard can get in the window as time goes on. As the soft tyre starts degrading, as the medium starts degrading, that's when the hard tyre will start coming to its own. When the fuel goes off, when other tyres are going off as well, Limitless will probably start getting a bit more pace as time goes on. So he might not move a lot from his 13th position early on. He'll try and keep out of trouble. That's what he wants to be doing. But that's basically what he'll be doing in the race. That'll be his race strategy. But they're all lining up now for the start of this race, and let's get things going here in Austria. It's round 9 of the season. The current championship leader, Veloci Surprise, in second place at the moment on the grid, and we are getting ready for 5 red lights here in Austria. Is it going to be Joe? Is it going to be Surprise? And it's lights out and away we go. And it's a pretty even start, but Surprise got a very good launch off the line. It's Surprise who heads into turn 1. Is he going to be ahead by turn 1? He is going to be ahead, but Joe's going to try and get back at him here. And look at that. Look at Syra alongside Joe here. Syra's on the inside of Joe, and he's going to try and make a move. Ideally into the turn 3, technically. Is he going to go for it on the inside? Surprise will break later. Cyrus gone really late on the brakes. He touches Surprise. He's round. He's been spun around by Joe. And that's his race pretty much done. Does it already. That's not a great start at all. But look at this. Look at this in the background. People on Brown's going for it around the outside of Joe here. Can he go around the outside of the Mercedes driver? He can do. Has Joe got damage from that contact with Syra? We don't know at the moment, but it's wheel to wheel. Williams versus Mercedes. Williams from the outside. It's going to be the inside for the double left-handers, but Surprise. Joe keeps pole position for now, but behind, it looks like he's got a little bit of understeering that Mercedes potentially. Can the Williams try and get past him? Because at the moment, TSR Bastek is in second place, and it's all falling apart for Joe and even Cyrus. Big time damage for him. Joe is struggling through these double right-handers here. So Williams now, can the people on our Brown get past the Mercedes driver behind, and even behind, look at Langman in 5th place. He's looking for a move, ideally as well. Joe is having to park the bus at this stage, and to me, P1R Brown wants to get on with it. He needs to get on with it very quickly if he wants to get after the Haas driver ahead of him. So here he comes, in the slipstream to the left-hand side. We'll try and go around the outside of the Mercedes driver, but Joe will brake a little bit later. And now it's time for Williams to actually try and cut back, but he doesn't cut back. He gets lots of oversteer instead. And instead, he's actually under threat from Langman behind. He's a bit more closer to him than P1R Brown is to Joe. But again, no DRS in these early stages of the race. This is where it's affecting it. There's no opportunities for overtaking at the moment. They're having to sort of just try and make the moves when they can. But without DRS, they can't do much really with it. P1R Brown once again is right on Joe. He needs to find a way past. Now lap 3 is coming up very shortly, and Joe is understeering so much, and this is an opportunity for P1R Brown. Can he get past? He's going to be on the outside line for the penalty corner. Can he get around the outside? No, he doesn't. He backs out of it very wisely. He's got a DRS zone coming up ahead. He won't be ready for activation this time around, but if he can get a good run from turn 1, he can have a good chance of it here. But here he comes. He's in the slipstream of the Mercedes driver. He's looking for a move, but again, he's going to have to try and back out of it and hook up a good exit from turn 1. He gets an alright run, but Joe actually gets a pretty good run as well. He's got the DRS. He's in the slipstream. Here he comes. He's got all the power available to him. He's going to have the inside line for turn 2. And he's got that move done well before turn 2. And he doesn't outbrake himself. Joe will try and cut back. You know what? Joe is going to try and cut back here. But he won't be able to get it done. But he'll have DRS on the Williams driver. And he'll be able to counter-attack him. Can he go for a move on the next corner? He's looking for it. No, he backs out for now. And he knows it's wide. He's got damage to his front wing properly. He's understeering. You see the end plate is missing off that Mercedes. He isn't going to go for anything reckless at this point. He's going to have to try and recover and just try and keep in this race whilst he can, because at the moment he's dropping back. You've got Langman out behind him, wanting to get past too, so it is far from ideal. And here comes Langman actually. Talking about Langman, he's right on him here. He's going to be wise to it though. He doesn't want to make a move here. It's not a great opportunity, and if you do make a move here, it can end up in tears. Last corner now, and here's where Langman needs a good exit. He's going to get a good run here. But again, Joe has DRS on the Williams here, so this is going to be a problematic situation for Langman. It's going to be all in the corners. Now he needs a good run through this first corner, and he hasn't got that good run. He's rode that curb on the outside. It's completely spat him, and he hasn't got that run that he wants. But behind, we've got Leopard in 6th place on the medium tyre, ahead of Sarah Rosberg. Now that's a good place to be at the moment for Leopard. He's made up some massive ground on that medium tyre. Bear in mind, he's running the alternate strategy compared to those guys in the top 10. So he's actually the highest placed guy on the alternate strategy. So that's a really good start for Leopard. I think he was down in sort of 11th, I think he was in 12th place to start with. So he's actually made up 6 positions in the opening 4 laps of this Grand Prix. So superb stuff from Leopard here. Looking down the order, Leopard is still in 12th, so you'd expect that he wouldn't be able to make up that ground that you'd be able to do initially. So he hasn't been able to make that ground on the hard tyre, but the hard tyre will come into his own. He's driven back from overkills, but eventually the medium's going to go off, the soft's going to go off, and then Limitless will try and start coming back into his own here. So at the moment, the gap between the top 2 is 1.5 seconds. Bastek is keeping with Surprise. He's keeping him honest. The gap being around about 1.8 seconds. And that is around 1.5 seconds at the moment. So he's doing a superb job, is Vlogger Surprise, keeping the gap where it is. But Bastek isn't letting him go away. It's going to be one of those. I think Bastek can keep with him. And, you know, if he can break into that DRS, he's got a very good opportunity here to have a good shot. Langman again, looking to try and get a run on Joe. Let's go back to that battle, because that looks to be an interesting battle, and see how that all plays out. So he's right behind Joe again, but he hasn't been able to get past. And meanwhile, whilst he's being held up by the Mercedes driver, he's got, again, another battle, the Rosberg and LCR Leopard battle behind him. So he really wants to get on with it, because his tyres are very quickly... they're burning out at the moment. The soft tyres will be wearing away very quickly, and that's enabling Leopard to also catch up. But once again, Langman's got a good run through the double right-handers, and he needs a good run through the last right-hander here, the last corner, if he can get on the DRS, which he does get on the DRS. Now, turn 1 isn't really an overtaking opportunity. It's a pretty tight corner, so he's not going to make it stick into turn 1, but he needs a good run out of turn 1, ideally. And you know what? It's not got a bad run there. So here he comes in the DRS of the Mercedes driver. This is going to be a good opportunity to get past if he can. So he's in the slipstream and the DRS. He goes to the right-hand side. He's going to try and brake later, but you know what? He doesn't go for it. He's almost shy of it. Joe's on the breaks a lot deeper into the corner. and he actually gets a better run off that corner as a result. But again, no opportunity for Langman at the moment to get past Joe, and it's enabling Leopard and Rosberg to come into this battle a little bit as well. And this is not what Langman wants. He wants to get past Joe and try and go and attack P1R Brown if he can, but at the moment that's not happening. That's not the story, and Joe's motive here is just trying to keep hold of 4th place, because he still thinks that he's only, what, 6 seconds behind Surprise here. He's losing roughly a second a lap to Surprise, if you calculate it, 6 laps and a 6-second gap. So he's losing that lap time a little bit, and he's doing a really good job of defending well against the Toro Rosso driver. But once again, he's got a good run here. Can he make a move? You know what? It's still a very good opportunity, and he's got that one done even before turn 1. But Joe will get a counter-attack back on the Toro Rosso driver, so he'll have the second burst DRS, which he does get. So he's in that DRS once again. Can he attack Langman back here? He's in the slipstream. He's really clutch. He goes to the left-hand side, but you know what? He doesn't even bother. You can hear him lift off the throttle. He doesn't bother doing it because he knows if he gets back in front, it's an unnecessary battle he needs to be in. But again, he'll try again. He's weaving around and behind Langman. And he's trying to make a move, is he? But Leopard behind looking for it as well. So Joe's going to try and go around the outside of Langman here. And Langman really does force him off wide. Here comes Leopard though. He's going to be on the right-hand side for the double left-hander. He's going to try and go around the outside of the Mercedes driver. Can he get around the outside? He's trying it. But you know what? There's no space around the outside. Joe says, no, mate, you're not going there. I'm going to leave you out to dry. That's what he's done there. But here comes Leopard again. He gets a good run through the double right-handers there, and another set of double left-handers, sorry. And now the double right-handers here. Can he get a good run for the last corner? He'll try it down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely, but needs a good run. He is not really a great run. Joe has got again DRS, but look at behind. Look at Syra behind as well. He's going to try and go for a move on the inside. Is he? No, he's not. And Syra is trying to come back into this race. He was round at turn 3 technically, sorry, and he's back in this race once again. Here comes Leopard on Joe. Can he get this move around the outside done? He can't. He'll try and cut back instead on the Mercedes driver. He'll try and you know what, it's a good opportunity here to try and get back, but Joe also has DRS and Langman, so this is not helping Leopard's cause try and get past Joe either. Joe is becoming a bit of a blockade at the moment in this race, but he's doing what he has to do in terms of his own strategy, in terms of what he has to do in this race, because at the moment he's got the end plate damage from the Syra battle we had earlier on. He wants to keep hold of 5th place, he wants to be in that top 5, because every point matters in this championship, and even if he's down in 4th place, anything can happen. And we saw it with Syra today. Syra had his bad luck. Syra got lucky, Surprise had bad luck in this race. Surprise has been the one who's been lucky and got, had a good start to the race, and Syra hasn't. But into the pit lane is Joe, so he's pitted early. 10th lap front wing must be just he's causing lots of problems for him. It's a change of front wing. It's a long wait in that pit lane, and it's just the agonising bit. You're sitting in that pit lane for ages. It's taken an age to get through it. He pops on that medium tyre, so that tells me that he's confident to get to the end of the race on that medium tyre. I personally would have chosen the hard tyre, being safe. It might have been safer, but there we go. Joe's back out there in 11th place. Limitless is also in the pit lane. That's early for a set of hard tyres, so I'm wondering if Limitless picked up a bit of damage on that first lap as well, and he switched over to that medium tyre. But theoretically, I mean, I'm guessing the medium tyre can get to the end of the race, because they wouldn't be putting it on otherwise, unless they're going for a 2-stop, which I doubt they would be doing. I think that's probably not worth doing at all. Only there's a safety car. The safety car comes out, then and there's a chance. There's still a yellow. Actually, the safety car actually has been deployed. Sorry, I did not notice that. Safety car has been deployed. That's why people are making the stops now. So Surprise is pitting in now. Does he come out and rejoin in front? I'm guessing he will, because Buster hasn't hasn't picked Pox yet. And that, for me, is a good timing for Joe. That saved Joe there, because he was losing positions, losing time with that damage, and he was keeping hold position. He was causing a blockade. That's what he was doing, and safety car came at the right period for him to box in and get a pit stop, almost like a free pit stop in that sense. And this all completely resets things. Now Leopard hasn't pitted. He's out there in P1 on that medium tyre, that 9-lap-old mediums, and he hasn't pitted yet. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why he's done that. Surprise actually has gone on the hard tyre. Again, an interesting strategy. People were running the hard tire to the end of the race. So Rosberg's in the same thing. So is Bastek, so is Ted, and so is Albal. So actually, Albal's on 7 lap hold hard. So a lot of people are going to be seeing another split in strategy here. People have chosen that medium tire to go to the end, and now a lot of people have chosen the hard tire. Now, as we've mentioned previously, in terms of the TRI Limitless strategy, Limitless started on the hard tyre. He opted to go longer in that first stint in the race and switched to the medium at the end. Because by doing that, the hard tyre would come into its own later on in its stint compared to the soft and the medium tyre. Now, what we're getting here is people on that medium, which is the softer of the two compounds that people are running in this stage. The medium tyre is the softer of the two. Now, they're going to be super quick off the mark, so they'll have better tyre warm-up. And get their tyres in the window quicker than the hard tyre runners. But what they'll have is higher tyre degradation in their tyres, which means the hard tyre runners will come into their own later on in the race. So, surprise, he's in the net lead. Now, Leopard hasn't pitted. I'm wondering if Leopard is holding out. Thing is, for me, this is a really risky strategy. I don't know what Leopard's trying to play here. He's out there, and the same goes with Overkills, the same goes with even Alphabal on that hard tyre. They're 8 lap old hards, and I'm surprised he hasn't chosen to box it in and put on a set of medium tyres, which he actually has done now. He's actually boxed it in. Now, I don't know what Leopard's trying to do. Does he feel that the hard tyre can't get to the end? Because he has to run either the hard or the soft. Because he's running the medium. You can't run the same tyre again. You have to run at least a change of tyre choice. You have to run a change of compound. One change of compound. Does he feel that maybe the hard tyre can't go to the end at the moment? Is he... I mean, that makes no sense either, because why would you be doing that? So to me, I don't know if that's a mistake by Leopard. I personally think that's a mistake by Leopard, but... I could be wrong, but I don't feel that's the right strategy at this point. I think people making that choice to make a free pit stop now, whilst we've got a safety car period, because I'm sure the pit window was coming up, I'm pretty sure that was the right choice for everybody else behind Leopard. But we'll see how this all plays out. Safety car is in this lap, and they'll be preparing to go racing once again. And it'll be LCL Leopard who leads them round to start the race over again. We've got 25 more laps in this race, plenty of action to go, and Leopard's not going to give up this first place that easily, I feel. So it's all about surprise. Who are we going to going very soon? So into the last sort of couple of corners now, and we're waiting for Leopard to get this race underway. They're coming into the last corner now, and you know what? They've gone racing once again. We're racing in Austria, and Leopard starts lap 12 in the lead. Ahead of Surprise in second place, Bastek in third, Overkill's in fourth, and Syra in fifth. And now into turn one, Leopard leads, but Surprise will try and get past him as soon as he can. He's got the fresher tyres, they're the hards. Yes, they're going to be harder to warm up, but there's been a crash, I think, somewhere in second three. Who was that? Was that Feisty Ted who's crashed out? Because there's a massive gap between the top three and fourth place is actually Overkill. So that's something's happened there, but no safety car has been deployed for that indeed. But here comes Surprise. He's right in the slipstream of Leopard, but he won't be able to make an opportunity. And bear in mind, DRS will be disabled for the first 2 laps of this safety car period of our safety car period, so he won't be able to make a move yet. But bear in mind, he has better grip than the Renault driver. But now the top 3 are sort of in the race of their own now. They're in that race of their own. We've got now Syra now in 4th place and battling with Overkill. Let's go back to that, because those two are really battling away. And you've got the Sailors of Joe behind them as well. Here comes Overkill around the outside of the Red Bull driver. Can he get around the outside and the inside? He got that move done superbly. And now Joe's got a good run on the Alfa Romeo driver as well. Actually gets past the Red Bull driver nicely and had a really good run. Was looking maybe potentially try and set a move on Syra here. So here he comes in the slipstream of Syra. And Syra's race has also kind of in a way being saved by that safety car period, because he was down so far after that first lap. These two collided earlier on. Remember on that first lap at turn 3. Will it end in curtains again? So here comes Joe. He's in the slipstream again, but no DRS, bear in mind. Is he going to try and go for it on the inside? Is he? He's going to go for it on the inside. It breaks a lot later, and he's gone for that move. That's a textbook move by, oh my god, that's Joe. A really solid move. That is superb on the brakes, but here comes, I'm sorry, he's got the cut back on him. Can he get it around the outside? We'll try and cut back out of this corner. He'll try the cut back if he can, but to me, there's a bit of end plate damage on that Alfa Romeo, and you know what, there actually is some end plate damage on that Alfa. So, some contact has been made somewhere with Syra, with somebody else, and I'm wondering who that somebody else is. It definitely wasn't Joe because there was no contact on our screens. So, unless that's a glitch, he is falling back on Joe at the moment. That's definitely not ideal, but let's turn back to our lead battle. So Leopard versus Surprise. It is still very close between the two of these boys. Surprise right in that slipstream, and DRS has been enabled this lap, so here we go. This is a really good opportunity to get past it. He's going to go through turn 1, get a better run out of it. Gets a little bit of oversteered though, actually, and not got a great run. Now, Leopard, does he choose the defender's position? Yes or no? And you know what? I think he is going to go for a defence. He does defend to the inside line, and he's going to try and break a little bit later, but Surprise breaks later, and he's actually committed a big contact there, and Surprise has lost the rear end, and he actually won't have DRS back on him there. Actually, if anything, Leopard had DRS on him, because Surprise made the move before the DRS activation point. Bastek's looking for a move on the inside as well, so Bastek's putting all sorts of pressure on because he's on the medium tyre, the softer of the two. That's actually between the hard and the medium. It is the medium that's the softer. So can he try and come back on this as well? Because whilst these two are battling away, it can give Bastek a little bit of a sniff. Really, Bastek wants to be in front of Surprise because his mediums are going to be a lot older, a lot more worn down by the end of the race. So he wants that track position. But around here, track position does not mean anything unless you can actually get a gap out. So here comes Surprise again. It's attack number 2 in the DRS zone. He's going to have DRS on the red driver, but turn 1 isn't a great opportunity for a move. He'll wait for the exit of turn 1, and that's straight afterwards. He needs a good run through here. He's not got a bad run. He runs the curb on the left hand side, but he's got the DRS here. So Leopard, he'll try and do the same thing again. Will he defend to the inside? Is he going to go for a defense? He doesn't go for defense. Instead, he leaves the door open for Surprise on the inside. Gets the move done, and Surprise is back into the lead. But can Leopard get an attack back? He's got a good run here. You know what? This is a very good run from the runner driver here. He looks to the outside, trying to go around the outside. Can he go around the outside? No, he'll try and cut back instead on the Mercedes driver. And you know what? He's got not a bad cut back here. Not a bad run, but no, he's too far back to go for any sort of cutback. And to the Surprise, retains his first position, and he's got a nice 21 laps to go in this race, but he hasn't got it all easy. Now, here's our Bastek. He's next behind Leopard. He really wants to get a move done, surely. So let's go on board with this because Bastek really wants to get this one done. But bear in mind, Leopard will have DRS on Surprise. So this is not over yet. Bastek is going to struggle at the moment. As Overkill picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Bastek now will try and get a good run for turn 1 if he can, which he has. But they both do have DRS on Joe, so really nothing much to gain here for the Haas driver. And Leopard is keeping with Surprise here. Surprise isn't being let go at the moment. Now he needs a good run through here, does Bastek. Meanwhile, Joe is now in 4th, and Offer Rosberg is now in 5th. And Sari is in 6th with his damage that he's got, so not ideal for him. Considering that safety car period was a great opportunity to recover back because obviously damage of Joe on the first lap was able to come back through, and yeah, it's kind of not really worked out for Sari to play. And again, another spot of bad luck, and he's almost had 2 dosages of bad luck in this race, very similar to Surprise's race in France. Looking back down the order, Jason's made a move on his own teammate Overkill, so maybe there was a bit of a switch going on there. Overkill has dropped back very quickly, and that's because his mediums are so old. He needs to box it in, I feel, because he's just going to be constantly wearing them out. Does he box it in? No, he doesn't. He continues on, and that enables actually now Limitless is now down. Actually, Limitless is now battling Syra, so here comes Limitless on the inside of Syra, heading to turn 1. Is he got this move done? Surely he has. Damage front wing for Syra, and Limitless is down into 6th place. And what a drive it's been from Limitless. He was down the order in 12th early on, but he's now into 6th. But Syra will try and do the counter attack if he can. But Limitless has DRS also, I think, on his own team at Rosberg. And he keeps on position. Look at behind. Look at all that bunch behind. João Pedro and Overkill is battling away as well. It's a massive group of drivers here. And it's now Overkill trying to defend against João Pedro. João Pedro looking for the outside of the next corner. He'll try and break a lot later on those mediums. He's round the outside, but basically on the inside for Overkills. It's a wheel-to-wheel through the next sets of left-handers, and it's going to be the inside line for João Pedro. But you know, he's gone a lot too deep there. And actually, if anything, Overkills is on the inside of the next left-hander, and we're still wheel-to-wheel each other, and that's a great battle there. And the Alfa Romeo driver gets ahead of João Pedro, gets ahead of Overkills, but makes it a little bit harder than he'd like. But look at this pack. There's a big battle going on between all of these boys all together. We've got Dralex there, Alfa Bal there as well, all close together. Dralex is obviously on the hard tyre and Alfa Bal on the medium, so theoretically The Taurus should be in a better place on tyres and feel on those tyres. Here he comes again, through turn 1, and all settled down at the moment. Bastek is still struggling to get past Leopard, and Leopard's on 17-lap-old medium tyres. Now Alpbal, can he make a move on the inside? Is he going to go for it? No, he does not, but ahead, look at all on the head. João Pedro's trying to make some moves on as well. He's currently in 9th place ahead of O'Kills. He made that move earlier on, but he's trying to and attack Jason as well if he can. It's a big group here going on. Relentless is just keeping ahead of this group. Syra in 7th place now, and he'll try and stay with Limitless and try and make something off it. Because Syra's got that MGM plate, but he is sticking with Limitless. It's only 4/10 of the gap, but it is growing through those long, medium speed corners. He's starting to struggle with that front wing, and Jason's got a good run here. So let's go on board with Jason because he's got a good run here. He'll basically try and set himself up for the last corner if he can, but Syra will have, I think, DRS on Limitless here. Surely he will. Now Jason will get an alright run, but against Syra gets DRS on Limitless. But Limitless will try and hunt down his own teammate Sierra Rosberg in 5th, so we'll see how that all unfolds. Now into turn 1, Jason breaks a lot later than the Alfa Romeo driver, and will try and get a good run here. And he's not got a bad run, but if anything, BRL João Pedro has got a better run on Jason than Jason has on Syra, but he won't go for anything stupid. Will João Pedro into the next corner? But here comes Jason here. Can he get again? Syra has still got DRS on Limitless here. Limitless seemingly not able to get away because of how powerful the DRS and the slipstream is around this circuit. But look at that, Syra locks up big time, and he's on that front right. There's a lot of load going through that tyre because of that missing end plate. Jason again is not really making the inroads on Syra that I expect, considering that Syra's got that end plate damage. Again, I think that's the neutralisation of that DRS. Again, you can see through those double left-handers, particularly the second double left-hander, Syra struggles through those corners, but you can't set a move for the corner at all. But again, Jason's got a good run here, but does he have enough to get past Syra? No, turn 1 isn't an opportunity, and if anything, Syra pulls away a little bit. Now turn 1 comes up, he needs a good run here. He's got a lot more deep on the brakes, but doesn't get the run that he'd like to as a result. What about Limitless versus Rosberg here? Does this actually end up in an overtake between the two of these boys? I don't think it will, and he hasn't been able to make that move stick. He's just too far back for now, but he'll be trying to get past Rosberg if he can. Rosberg on the hard tyre in comparison to Limitless on the medium. And is there a sense that medium tyre is starting to lose that edge that it had over that hard tyre? I think at this stage of the race, it definitely is. And Limitless is struggling at the moment to try and get past his own teammate. So, Rosberg is doing everything he needs to do to keep hold of that 5th place from now. And currently at the moment, Rosberg is actually 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship ahead of Joe. And he isn't going to lose too many points to Joe at this rate either. But Joe is bringing himself back into this battle. He's currently in 4th place. And he's trying to bring himself back into that top 3 battle if he can. And I definitely think he'll be back in that battle very soon. Because Leopard is sticking with Surprise. Still 4/10, even though he's on 20-lap-old mediums. Those mediums are really holding up very well for Leopard. But you can't expect that. There's been a safety-car period, and he didn't wear his tyres down that much during that safety-car period. But again, here comes Limitless on Rosberg. Is he close enough to make a move? No, he's not. He's too far back, and he'll have to stick behind his own teammate. He'll try and break later. Actually, if anything, he's probably breaking a bit too late there, and he hasn't got a good run on his own teammate. And meanwhile, this is all happening. The tyres are starting to degrade off. The hard tyres are coming into their own at this period of time, and this is where really Rosberg's kind of going, well, hang on, mate, I'm in my own race. And Rosberg can keep hold of his position. Yes. Limitless seems a bit more comfortable with the car at the moment of the time because he's on the softer compound available. But it's not enough to get past. But once again, he's right there with him. And he'll try and get a good run if he can through the last couple of corners here. So corner coming up here. Needs a good run through here, and he's got not a bad run here. He's on. Let's go on board with the racing point driver. These boys are going for it. Last corner now. Needs a good run. He's too far back to be able to move into turn 1, but he'll try and get a move done if he can out of this corner. So he'll brake a little bit later than Rosberg, try and get a good run if he can. And he's got not a bad run, not a bad exit here. So here he comes in the slipstream, DRS activated, using the ERS he's got available, and you know what? That is a done deal. Rosberg doesn't even strip to the inside to defend, and there you go. Tiro Limitless into 5th place, ahead of his own teammate Rosberg. Will he try to take back on his own teammate? Let's see what happens here. He'll try and get the better run if he can. You know what? He's got a pretty good handy run here. but I don't feel he's going to go for that, and he's he can basically play the waiting game and wait for Limitless tyres to burn out, so he can basically try and fight back in the later laps that come on. This group is a really good group going on here, but let's go back to our top 5 here, and Joe has closed in on our 3 leaders. Leopard is still out there at the moment on 21 lap old medium tyres. And I don't know how he's doing it, but it seems to me that things are starting to slow down for Leopard. He's now down to 7 tenths behind Surprise. It was sort of 3 or 4 tenths, so it just seems to me that the tyres are starting to fall out their main sort of their prime at the moment. Bastek, for me, is surprising me he's not been able to get past, but at the same time, thinking about it all, you can see why he hasn't, because those medium tyres that Leopard has got on his car, he's been sitting in a safety car period of 4 laps with them. So technically, they're more like 18 lap old than 22. So if you think about that, they're only 5 lap older than the guys behind him. So in a way, he's doing a really solid job, Leopard, at the moment. Keeping hold of that 2nd place. Meanwhile, because there's no penalty, so he's struggling with track limits out there. And it is a tricky track for track limits as well. And there's plenty of corners where you can go wide and take too much space in the corner and cut a corner as well. That is all very possible, but a lot of it is extending more than anything else. So here comes Leopard. Can he make a move again on Surprise? Again, he's 6 tenths back, but that's again the same sort of gap between himself and Leopard and the Surprise. So no opportunity for him. So they're all kind of in their own little cluster. They're in a slipstream. They're in a slipstream, basically like a slipstream circle at the moment. They're all kind of stuck in each other's slipstream. Nothing possible. And we saw this in France as well. This is a common thing on this game. They get all stuck in their own slipstream, and that's why Leopard, in my opinion, hasn't chosen the pit. He's gone, okay, well, I can stick in the slipstream all my life. I can stick here for the whole race and keep hold of 2nd place. And you know what? You kind of think about it and think, well, yeah, it makes sense. If you can stick in the slipstream, then it's not really a problem. And Surprise isn't really bolting away. And the reason for that is, again, so the slipstream is powerful enough to keep you in that zone, but it isn't powerful enough to make an overtake. That's the problem. But Surprise now looking closer than ever on Bastek, and you know what? Leopard has pitted it in, so he's not going any longer on those tyres. Those tyres are absolutely gone, but he's got a good gap to Limitless. So there was 9 seconds of a gap between that top 4, so he'll come out roughly in that battle, I think. And now someone gets a pit penalty, so his day goes from bad to even more worse than he'd like to. Now Leopard's falling down the order. Here comes Joe though on the inside of Bastek. Does he go for it on the inside? Yes, he will on the inside, and that's another move into turn 3 like he's done. This probably is now his 2nd or 3rd move into turn 3 today, and that's a textbook move in the DRS. Later on the brakes, done. Now he can pursue after his own teammate, Surprise. And bear in mind where Joe was at the beginning of the race. He was still in 3rd after contact with Syra, but he had that damaged end plate, and he had to pit. But the safety car came out the right period for him to pit in and put on this set of medium tyre. Here he come. Mercedes versus Mercedes. Surprise versus Joe. Joe on that medium tyre in comparison to the hard tyre for Surprise. This is it in terms of battle. Has Joe got enough life in those medium tyres to even challenge Surprise? In my opinion, no. I think those tyres are probably they've hit their peak and they're starting to fall away from their peak, and the advantage they would have over the hard tyre is probably pretty much diminished. But things can change. If Surprise makes a mistake, Joe's back in this race. So and back into this race for the lead. So it is going to be all about if he can get down. And you know what? If he does feel comfortable still, and the tyres aren't really degrading that much, he's got a very good opportunity and to get on done. As now Joe Pedro and Jason seemingly battling away. Joe Pedro made a move on turn 3, done that one nicely, and now Bao, I think, done it on Syra. Syra again trying to fight back and just fight onto anything he can get in this race. If he can get points today, if he can get 1 or 2 points, I think he'll take it. But if I'm being honest, he's got Leopard on fast set of soft tyres behind, and I think really this is curtain. Syra is going to probably only score only 1 point today, and that's going to be really unfortunate for him. This race really hasn't run at all very well. contact with Joe in the opening laps, and again seemed like he's still got damage. Maybe he's pitted for a change of front wing and they didn't change it, or maybe he picked up a bit more damage earlier on. Again, Leopard fast up the race, 6.3 on those soft tyres, so those are definitely working out very nice for him at the moment, and he's being able to pump in those fast up the race on those soft tyres as you would expect. And Overkills as well, also on that soft tyre in 13th place, but he's a long way back. He's 11 seconds off 12th, and it's a bit of a mountain climb for him. So we're a little bit dead at the moment out there. We've got Jason actually behind BRL Joao Pedro. I think that's probably one of the best battles to watch. Rosberg and Limitless, yes. Rosberg will be in his prime on those hard tyres. The hard tyres will probably start coming into their range now, whilst the medium starts degrading. So it's all on here still, I think. Limitless, I think Rosberg versus Limitless and Joao Pedro versus Jason is definitely a two battles to watch going to the end. And even Joe versus Surprise. But still keeping hold of third place for now, and I think those top three are pretty much safe. Limitless is a good 10 seconds back, so I don't think we're going to see a change for the top three, unless obviously penalties can come to it. But I don't think these three have really had many penalties in this race at all, so I think they're pretty much done for the top three. But the battle for fourth and the battle for sixth is definitely well and truly on, as Syra has pitted. So he's gone in and pitted, and I do think that's quite late for him. I probably would have pitted a lot earlier. After he got the damage and just gone for it, but I guess he really couldn't do that. As now Leopard gets into 8th place, so he's done a superb job there ahead of Alba Bal, and Alba Bal probably didn't fight that too hard because he knew that it probably was a battle that he would lose. Rosberg again closes big time up on Limitless in the DRS zone, but again not really able to get past him. It's too late in that DRS zone. But I think Rosberg might still struggle to get past Limitless, but again tyres can come into their own. Particularly the hard tyre will probably start coming into our own towards the end of the race. We're in the last 8 laps. Yellow flags out for, I think that was Langman. He's DNF'd out. Is that going to be a safety car? I don't feel it is. There's 7 more laps to go. I don't think it's worth another safety car, because if we sit behind a safety car for 3 laps, we'll have a final showdown for 3 laps. Now, I don't think, no, there will be yellows in sector 1 and 2. Somebody else gone off, or is that for Langman? I'm going for... That's for Langman still. Plus, it gets a penalty now, so people are still getting penalties at the start of the race. Now, Rosberg, has he got a good run out of turn 3 on his own teammates? Here he comes in the slipstream of his racing point teammate. Does he go to the inside? Yes or no? He doesn't, and he chooses to back out of it for now. Limitless goes a little bit deep into that next corner, so looking a little bit under pressure at the moment. So, here we are. These two are going to go battle. Joao Pedro and Jason, that group, and Leopard, they've all kind of dropped back out of that. And Leopard, you know what, he's one to watch now because he's coming back into this race. Let's go back with these three because Leopard is right behind these two. And this is going to be one to watch now. On fresher, soft tyres, they will degrade a lot towards the end. They have a higher degradation. They're much faster at degrading than these tyres, but they'll be so much more fresher. Now into turn 1, he'll try and get a good run out of turn 1 now on Jason. And he's not got a bad exit, but Jason has DRS on Joao Pedro here. So here comes Jason. He really wants to get this move done. He goes to the inside line, have the inside for turn 3, and he'll get that move done on the inside. Yes, he will. But here comes Leopard. Goes very deep on the brakes. He locks up, and he's gone very too deep indeed. But he's okay. He hasn't lost too much time there. But here comes Joao Pedro right in the slipstream. He's trying to counter-attack back on the Red Bull driver. Goes to the inside line. Yes, he does. Jason defends, breaks a lot later, and he keeps hold of 6th place. So that's a good defense, good work. And now Surprise left the session. What's happened to Surprise? He's disconnected. Oh my god, where's he gone? Oh no, wait a minute. Oh no. Let me see if I can get him back in. Give me a second. Oh, that's terrible. He's disconnected from the session, and we'll watch this moment as Joe is going to get past Surprise here, and that's for the lead of the race. Joe is into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, and that is a massive heartbreak for Veloci Surprise. It really hasn't gone to plan, particularly in France. But here as well, and that is so that's so gut-wrenching for him. I'm going to try and see if I can get him back in. I'll try my best. I can't even invite back to the game. I don't have that ability. We can't do that. That's so annoying. That is so annoying for Surprise. He was leading that race, did such a good job, and for him to disconnect, that's got to be big time heartbreaking for him. That's big time heartbreaking. Now, the battle I want to be watching now, though, as he's disconnected, can he make it back in? That's the big question. And because I've tried, I can't get him in. I'll try it one more time, but I don't think he can. I'm wondering. We can't get him back in. That's really unfortunate for Surprise. That's so unfortunate. And for a race that you've worked so hard for and fought so hard for, that's a big upset. But guess what's not over yet? The battle for the lead is between TSR Bastek and oh my god, it's Joe. And these two are going to go for battle for that winning position. Now Rosberg got past Limitless there, so look at this. Rosberg on the inside of Limitless is wheel to wheel between two Racing Point drivers, and you know what? Rosberg's got that move done and dusted. And you know what? Here comes Leopard, though. Leopard's going to try and come back on this, and the final podium position technically is in the hands of these guys, because these guys are going to go for it completely. Leopard on the faster, soft compound is going to be so quick, and you know what, this has been a very good strategy from him, and you know what, it's going to be the inside line, but he's like back out of that. He knows better than that. So here he comes through the double right-handers. Now the last corner here, can he set himself up? Surprise has rejoined back in, so the final podium position is safe in Surprise's hands if he can get back into his car and continue racing. And here he comes, Leopard on the inside, and there we go. Leopard now has got into 4th place, and yes, that would have been the final podium position if Surprise got back in, but Surprise has got back in, and hopefully he can jump back into his car again. But Bastek now is going to go wheel to wheel with Surprise. With Joe, sorry. And look at that, they lock up, there's Joe, and it's a good cut back from Bastek. He's going to have the outside line for the next left-hander. Can he go around the outside? No, he can't. He'll try and cut back into the next one if he can. And it's going to be a supreme battle between these two for a fight for the win here in Austria. It's not over till it's over. Definitely not. And Bastek is seeing that. These two, though, they can't waste this opportunity. Surprise disconnected. They don't really want to cause a collision, because that allows Surprise to come back into this race. So, we're now entering lap 34-36. We've got plenty of life to go in this race. So here comes TSR Bastek. He's not too close. He's close enough for the next DRS zone. He needs a good run for turn 1 if he can. And you know what? He's not got a bad run here. So here he comes in the slipstream and the DRS of my God, Joe. He really is closing up here, but you know what? He's too far back for now. He'll try and cut back out of turn 3 if he can. But Joe will park it as much as he can, so he can get a great cut back. And you know what? Joe's not got a bad run here, but here comes the DRS once again for the Haas driver. He's got the DRS, got a really good run. Joe defends to the inside line, and here comes the Haas around the outside. But again, he'll try and cut back on the Mercedes driver if he can, but you know what? It's not a great cutback at all. And again, he'll have to stay behind for another lap. There's no real overtaking opportunity other than those two DRS zones on the circuit. So again, he'll stay back for now against the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Rosberg's still keeping with Leopard. There's only 2/10 the gap. So I'm wondering why he's still taking it. Let's go back to that, because they are pretty close together, but it's actually growing again through the fast left-handers. I'm running that was just purely the DRS there. I think, to be honest, that was just probably DRS keeping him in within Leopard's sort of range, but he's starting to drop back there. But it's been a strong race for Rosberg. Limitless will probably be disappointed, but I think he knew that was kind of coming with the strategy. The hard tie definitely is in its prime at the moment. But here comes Bastek once again, right behind Joe. Is he close enough to make a move? Yes or no? That's a no for me. He's trying to get a good run through here if he can. He's not got a bad exit. It's sort of round 3 and a bit tense. So here he comes in the slipstream once again, overcuts for no penalty. And here he comes. He's going to really close it down, but he'll try and cut back again if he can. And you know what? Joe's got a little bit deeper, but he kind of parks it nicely off the apex to try and cover it off. And now Overkill has been disqualified for multiple penalties, and that is really unfortunate for him. He was running alright earlier on, but unfortunately he's out of this race, disqualified for multiple penalties. But again, these two, we're entering in the final lap of the race in Austria, and it's still, we don't know who's going to win this race. It's a tense final lap for Joe. He's come back from having an end plate damage in the opening lap with a battle with Syra, and he's winning this race. Yes, he had a little bit of luck, he had luck on his way, surprise disconnected from the lead, but he is winning this race. Bastek now through turn 1. Does he want this more? It's all about who wants it more, Joe or Bastek here. Here comes Bastek. He's in the slipstream once again. He'll close up again into this next corner, but he'll be too far back. He'll brake a little bit later if he can. He'll try and cut back on the Mercedes driver. You know what? I think he's got a good run. It's not a bad run, and he's going to try and go for it here if he can. He's in the slipstream and DRS. Joe's going to have to defend really hard to the inside if he can, and there has to try and come around the outside. Going to break a lot later. It's all on the line here. He goes around the outside. He's been forced onto the curb, and Joe has defended so well. Really, really well, and it looks like he's got that one done. I think that is the final opportunity for Bastek. There's not another one at all. So does Joe hook it all together? We're through here for the final time now. We're going to enter the penultimate corner, and I think that has been done by Joe. Into the penultimate corner now we go for the final time, and now the last corner, and Joe is going to come through the last corner to win in Austria. A fantastic race win. Yes, there was luck, but he did it. He was here to win it, and what a win there for Joe. It's surprising to line for third. He'd be truly disappointed. He controlled this race, but he equally deserved to win today. But disconnections, all these things have changed the outcome. Rosberg in 4th, Lippert in 5th on penalties, Limits in 6th, Appel in 7th, Jason in 8th, Pierre Brown in 9th, and João Pedro, is he going to get the final point? I do. No, he's not. He's going to weave it to the line. Actually, Syra does get it on penalties, gets the final point, and I do think that was somewhat deliberate there. Dralex in 12th, struggled in his, I think his first race back in ILR1, first race in ILR1, so struggled, yes, but there's a long way to go, and I'm sure he'll progress throughout the whole season. But that has been your Austrian Grand Prix, and we'll get those top 3 into the party. But just want to kind of round up that race before we get those guys in. Super disappointing for Prix. He controlled that race, did what he had to do. Whilst Joe was battling with Syra in the opening lap, he went away, he was able to control the race. And he's just, and then, you know, Joe really didn't have the tyre life on those mediums. They were pretty much warning in comparison to that hard tyre. And then the unfortunate, the thing that you don't want to happen happened, and Joe was able to win that race. And Joe, give it to him though. He had to do what he had to do, and he had that damage in the opening laps. He came back in, and you know, he's won that race from having damage and having to keep hold position earlier on. And did that help him win today's race? In my opinion, keeping hold of that track position, even with that end plate damage, it also did help him today. So let's run through our classification for the Austrian Grand Prix. Oh my gosh, Joe wins here in Austria, ahead of TSR Bastek in 2nd, Volch's Prize in 3rd, Cyril Rosberg in 4th, good points for Racing Point today, in 5th place for LCR Leopard, 6th place for Terra Limitless, 7th place for Albal, 8th for Jason, and 9th for Pierre Brown, and 10th for V Syra, 11th place for BRL João Pedro, 12th for VSR Dralex, 13th for Langman, 14th for Vice Ted, 15th for WR Verstappen, and Overkills in 16th place is qualified for multiple penalties. Now let's get our top 3 in if we can. I'm wondering if Surprise will join. I'm sure he'd be very upset with that in the end. Try and get the top 3 if I can in a party. Well done, mate. Yeah, I'm here, Joe. Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can. You're good. You're good. Wondering. I don't think Surprise will join.
I
Probably won't.
understandably won't be very happy.
Understandably. Yeah. I'm trying to get Bastek if I can, but it might just be you, mate.
That's all right.
Give Bastek a minute, and then we'll get it underway. You know what? We'll start it. So Joe, that race was a bit of a chaotic one, wasn't it? Qualified well. Took pole. Which I'm sure you were happy about. But it all kind of went a bit interesting in that initial lap with Syra. I think contact was made between the two of you, and Syra was round, and you had the end plate damage, and you had to defend against guys behind who are a lot faster in those in those sort of the first 10 laps before the safety car period. Just tell me about the race from your perspective, the collision with Syra, and how do you feel about the race?
The race overall was kind of a shocker, to be honest. I got pole, even though it wasn't a perfect quality lap. Yeah, there was definitely about a tenth or two in it for probably most drivers. But yeah, the start, as usual for me, wasn't great, like the initial launch. So I just let Josh go into turn one because it's a long race. I don't want to get any stupid warnings or damage or anything. And then, yeah, Syrah, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing the exact opposite to what I did. Dive bombs me and Josh into turn three. Half spins himself, and then there's nowhere for me to go. He's just, yeah, it was ridiculous, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't not very happy at all. And then I pitted as early as I could, and luckily the safety car came out for, I don't even know what it was for, and I don't understand how there's not a safety car on lap one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's strange. Yeah.
I caught back up to where I kind of was before I pitted with a new wing now, and I knew I should have good pace on the mediums, especially after Sir Josh was on the hards. I knew I would have good pace for at least the start of the stint, so I kind of caught them back all up, and then I think it was when Leopard pitted, Josh had about a second and a half gap, and by that point my ERS was completely screwed after trying to catch them all, and my tyres had kind of gone. So yeah, it was really hard to get in the gap, and I probably wouldn't have done it. But then, yeah, he obviously disconnected, so if I was him, I'd feel proper robbed. But yeah, GG's to him and to Bastek. Really good pace.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You two really going for it. In those sort of the final bit after surprise, kind of he disconnected, which obviously was really unfortunate for him. You two really went for it, and he has some superb pace. But you did a really good job of defending against him. And that final lap, it looked pretty close between you two because he really put it all on the line and to try and make a move, to get it move done. So he drove super well, but. Yeah, let's talk about that first lap. Let's go back to that. And from your perspective, obviously, that was opening lap. Syra doing what he did could have been potentially costly for both of you as well. And, that obviously isn't really on, is it really? In that opening lap, it's such a long race, and for that to happen, how hard was it for you to defend against the guys behind with that end plate damage? I'm sure it was probably affecting you through the high speed stuff in particular.
Yeah, the wing damage didn't actually feel like extremely bad. Of course, I was losing about 6 or 7 tenths a lap, but at this track, you can kind of still like maintain position in a way. And at points, I was letting people go just to try and like not lose as much time by sticking in their DRS. And then yeah, well, we got into battle, and that kind of didn't happen. But yeah, the first corner incident, not first corner, first lap incident, yeah, I really don't know what to say. It's just ridiculous what Cyril did.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously this victory to you, I mean, I'm guessing it feels quite hollow because the guy who was controlling the race from pretty much the whole race, disconnected. But um, just take that out. I mean, how proud are you of your drive today? You know, we had this safety car period helped you, but I do believe that even earlier on when you had that end plate damage, you did actually, you kept position quite well, and I think running in fourth before the safety car came out. How important was that in the early stages to give you that position of safety car period, and to enable you to have that comeback through the field in that sort of it would be back to where you were basically. After the safety car period? How important was that early phase with that hem plate damage you had?
Um, it was relatively important. The main thing wasn't to lose as much like time, lose as little time as
Mm.
possible, and by kind of not letting everyone go, I wouldn't have like got into so many battles. So I tried keeping. I think I let P1R Brown go eventually because he was just too quick to keep behind, and then Langman I kind
Yeah.
of tried keeping behind for a while, but then because I was compensated for having no front downforce, I was using up so much ERS. So eventually let him go to try and save some up again, and then yeah, he started defending from me because I thought he was. I think he was thinking that I was going to go and make a move on him, and then I kind
Mm.
of had to because I suddenly got under attack from Leopard. So yeah, I'd say it was
Yeah.
pretty important because yeah, if I hadn't have battled them, I would have been behind like Ciro, etc. And yeah, I would have been nowhere.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next few races. Obviously, you missed a few this season, but you've had obviously today good day in terms of points for you, no matter how hollow the victory feels. But going into the next races, we've got got some nice tracks coming up next. How are you feeling in terms of the next circuits? Are they good circuits for you on previous form, or are you on the kind of are you on the fence about the next three races?
Um, what are the next races? Britain, Germany. Those aren't too bad. Hungary is not a great one, but then Spa in Italy, a few more races down the line. I really am quite looking forward to those ones. So yeah,
Hmm.
even though this victory is quite hollow because I didn't really deserve it in the end, it's kind of payback for what happened in France. And I really do
Yeah.
think if I didn't get taken out and was behind or with Josh in the first stint, I really could have like saved my tyres more and been like kind of on the flow more, if you get what I mean. So I really could have,
Hmm.
think I could have fought it with him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. One last question in terms of before before Surprise disconnected, um, obviously you were on the medium tire, he was on the hard tire. Um, did you feel you were able to kind of keep up with him and maybe have been able to challenge later on? From my perspective, it looked like you probably were struggling those mediums. You probably would have started struggling those mediums a lot more than Josh on the hard. Were you were you confident you'd be able to keep attacking him towards the end of the race, or do you think there was going to be a drop off between yourselves, you and him?
The tyres had already started dropping off, so I wasn't confident at all. I knew I had pretty much the same or maybe even a little bit better quali pace than Josh, but I knew his race pace was a little bit better than mine. So yeah, I wasn't really confident. I was just trying to make sure I didn't get any penalties, which I didn't
Hmm.
do, just in case he got one. And then yeah, he just disconnected, which is really unfortunate because he definitely deserved that win.
Yeah, 100%. And he's had a pretty unlucky run. Obviously, France, he had a lucky race, and today it looked like it was going well for him, but that's really obviously just super unfortunate. And if he is watching the stream at this point, which I don't think he will be, but if he is, that's such a shame, mate. So that's not. I just don't want that to happen in your own races here. It's just, I mean, you've worked so hard. To have that happen is just like the worst thing to happen. So, but anyway, Joe, still great race fight from you today. You did everything you needed to do, and obviously, considering the circumstances, you do have a really good race to be back on that podium again after what happened on that first lap. So, well on to you, and that's going to help your points. I think you're back up to third in the drivers' championship now as well, ahead of Rosberg. So that's really good. But I still think there's quite a big point haul to get back to Surprise, isn't there?
Yeah, after not finishing, or not doing two races, not finishing Baku, and not having a really good start to the season, I think I was over 100 points off Josh. I think I've got it to
Hmm.
about 50 now. So I mean, if I keep going at the same trajectory, there is a chance at the championship. But to be honest, I'm just focusing race by race to yeah, just get the best result I can, really.
Yeah, definitely. Well then, mate. Super race, and we'll see you back for the British Grand Prix next time out. But anyway, guys watching the stream, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this race. I've tried to make it as entertaining as possible without James today. Yeah, if you guys are watching it back on YouTube, thanks for watching as well. And we'll see you next week for round 10 of the season for the British Grand Prix.